Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a great summer and finding some time to get outdoors. In the meantime, the ELPC staff is working every day to protect the Midwest environment and those very special places like the Great Lakes. Let me tell you a short story about a big ELPC victory, and it really emphasizes how long it takes to make a real difference and how important it is. The Chicago River is much cleaner than it's been for the last 50 years, and here's why. 15 years ago, the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District was the only one of those districts in the country that wasn't requiring that wastewater that was being discharged be disinfected. The Environmental Law and Policy Center went to the Illinois Pollution Control Board. We filed what amounted to a lawsuit, and we mounted a public advocacy campaign with Friends of the Chicago River and others to say, enough is enough, time to put modern pollution control technology on the system so that the river gets cleaner. The Pollution Control Board ruled in our favor. The U.S. EPA said time to take action. The Metropolitan Water Reclamation District was required to back down and install modern pollution control technology. Look at the difference that's made. Today we're seeing the impact with a much cleaner Chicago River that everybody enjoys. And this September is going to be the first swim in the river in years. And that's real progress. It takes dedicated, persistent, effective advocacy, and that's just a great example of the real impact of the work that ELPC does. Here's another story about things that take time to make a real difference. Starting about 15 years ago, we worked with then-President Obama to create the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative. And since that time, there's been more than $4 billion of federal funds that have gone into restoring wetlands, protecting the shorelines and our coastlines along the lakefront, cleaning up toxic waste sites, and protecting fisheries and wildlife. When we do that well, it makes a tremendous difference for the environment and for the public to be able to enjoy the Great Lakes and the other places where we live, work, and play around the Midwest. That's a big win. ELPC public interest attorneys are in federal court on behalf of the Alliance of the Southeast and Friends of the Parks to stop the Army Corps of Engineers' misguided toxic waste dump along the Lake Michigan shoreline on the southeast side of Chicago, an environmental justice community. The lake shore should be for parks, not for more toxic pollution. Stay tuned. We have a big oral argument on August 28th in the federal court, and that's a big case in order to protect people, environmental justice, and Lake Michigan. We're also back in federal court in Ohio with co-plaintiffs, the Lucas County Board of Commissioners and the City of Toledo, to clean up Western Lake Erie. The problem continues. Every summer, Western Lake Erie is plagued by toxic algae blooms. That's caused by agricultural runoff of fertilizers and manure. We're in court saying enough is enough. We're suing the U.S. EPA. It's time for these agencies to do their job, enact regulations that require the agricultural sector to clean up its act and stop contaminating Western Lake Erie. That's a national disgrace, and we have to do better than this. Let's turn to ELPC's work on climate solutions across the Midwest. First of all, some really good news. Last month, the U.S. EPA announced funding for 600 EV school buses across the Midwest. That means that kids in these school districts who are taking these buses are going to have cleaner air, and they'll be better and cleaner air for everybody in our communities. That's a big win, and we're really proud of the work that ELPC has done on this over the last several years. ELPC public interest attorneys and policy experts are engaged in front of 7 public utility commissions to clean up the grid. The ground rules that get set in the back rooms before the Public Service Commission make a huge difference in terms of the electric system we have for the future, and that's what ELPC attorneys are working to do along with policy experts every day before the Public Service Commissions. At ELPC, we're ambitious, and we're also creative. That's what our Power Plants to Parklands initiative is all about. While coal plants are shutting down across Michigan, there's a once-in-a-generation opportunity to convert some of that shoreline property into parklands and greenways, and at the same time, to develop renewable energy such as solar energy and energy storage on the coal plant sites that are hardwired into the electricity grid. This is a model here in the Midwest that can be replicated across the country as coal plants shut down. Stay tuned for more news. Let me leave you with one thought. I was recently with Vice President Kamala Harris, and she said something that really struck me. Don't throw up your hands, roll up your sleeves. And that's what the ELPC team does every day. We roll up our sleeves, we know how to get things done, and we make a real difference. Thank you for all you do to help and sponsor ELPC. Thank you for working together with us, and let's get outdoors this summer and have an awesome time. My best wishes.